Okay, guys, with the brackets coming out, everyone is going to be filling out their brackets. I just wanted to go through just some standard overall facts and March Madness bracket advice. How do we really rack up easy points when it comes to, accurately predicting the Sweet 16, the Elite 8, stuff like that. And then when it comes to your national champion, we've got a number of different data points that will actually tell us that the national champion can only be like one of 5 teams, which is just crazy. We're going to get to that, guys. My resume is just impeccable. I mean, we're talking about multiple perfect brackets from me, multiple bracket wins. At this point, this time of year, I really only have 2 things on my mind. What vacation spot am I going to go to with my winnings, and how many women am I going to take? So, guys, when it comes to this first statistic, you can see if you're picking a national champion, you're going to want to roll with a 1 seed, right? We're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We're not rebuilding the Titanic here. It's a 1 seed. Maybe you want to go a 2 or a 3 seed, but 65% of the champions in recent history have been a 1 seed. Again, it's not impossible. A 2 or a 3 can make it, but if you go with a 4, you're really up against it. Only a 3% chance there. 0 5 seeds have won a national title in recent memory. And then you do have a few Cinderellas that go crazy. I mean, we saw it last year almost with North Carolina. But when it comes to the actual national champion, this is not the Final Four, because the definitely Cinderella teams can make the Final Four. Absolutely. This is just the national champion. Let's not try and raise the Titanic. Let's be realistic with it. We're not doing a crazy math equation. We're probably going to be wanting to choose a 1 seed to win the actual title, and it's so important to predict the right team to win the title because it's such a bonus multiplier on many of these bracket challenges. Now, when it comes to teams that can actually win the national title based on a number of different facts, let's go through this. Number 1. 100% of national champions since 1993 have made their conference tournament semifinals, and you can see the teams on this list. There's a few teams I want to pay attention to. It's Houston, so they're on this list. It's UConn, they're on this list. Alabama is on this list as well. So that's kind of just like the first gauge you look at. This is very important, and this is something that everyone always brings up around this time of year. 100% of national champions since 2002 have been both a top 40 Ken Palm offense and top 22 defense. It's just the way it kind of works out. So just looking at this list, I would say Creighton is way too inconsistent. Texas is tough, because Texas just beat Kansas, but I'm probably going to steer clear of Texas. I'm going to steer clear of Alabama due to the karma factor. Houston is a team I'm really interested in when it comes to my overall national champion, although they have a current health scare. UCLA, they lost their best defender, one of the best defenders in college basketball. UConn is there, and then Kansas, who's dealing with the Bill Self health problems. And also the other thing with Kansas, they won the national title last year. I would be shocked if we see a back-to-back national title, team, especially with how random the brackets are and stuff like that. So I'm staying away from picking Kansas this year. Just looking at this graph, it's like Houston, Texas. If you want to throw Alabama in there, you can, but I'm someone with the karma. I can't do it. And really, like, the whole Alabama thing, I don't know. It's just, it's a weird situation, I'm not going to get into it, but it's like I'll probably have them going to the Elite 8, and that's it. We'll see. And then the other team I'm intrigued with is UConn. But to me, with UConn, it's all about which bracket they get into, which region, what teams they draw, because they're probably going to be a 4 seed. And if they are a 4 seed, then it definitely becomes reliant. Who is their 1 seed in their region? Who's the 2 seed? Who's the 3 seed? With them being that far down in the seed line. And then 100% of national champions since 1997 are located on the east of this line. So, UConn certainly, teams like that are on the east since 97. Alabama would fit that criteria. You would have to say Kansas is east of that line because they won it last year. So that's just some interesting things to take into account when it comes to the overall bracket. And then we're going to go kind of seed line by seed line, what's going on in terms of the history. So these are the number one overall seeds. What is our strategy with 1 seeds based on history? First round, a 1 seed has now only lost once in the first round. There have been close calls, but actually picking the upset is bracket suicide. So yeah, unless you want to troll in the first round in the 1v16 game, obviously, you're picking the 1 seeds to go 4-0 in that. Second round, all 1 seeds will reach the second round, and 85% of them will advance further. It's basically a toss-up whether only 3 or all 4 advance to the Sweet 16. So I would say you're probably pretty safe picking all of the 1 seeds to the Sweet 16. You're basically guaranteed at least 3 of them making it based on bracket history. The only 1 seed I would have concerns about in an 8v9 second round matchup is Purdue. Purdue, I think if they get a 1 seed, I am concerned about them at least a little bit. Sweet 16, it's not likely that all 4 1 seeds will survive past the Sweet 16. It's only happened 8 times. At least 2 and most likely 3 1 seeds will win their Sweet 16 matchup. So when it comes to the Sweet 16, you're going to want 2 1 seeds to advance, maybe even 3, but certainly not 4. That never happens. It's 2 or 3 when it comes to the Sweet 16. The Elite 8, only 2 Final Fours ever did not include a 1 seed. Most likely 1 or 2 1 seeds will advance past the Elite 8. So when it comes to this year, 2023 in particular, my strategy, I think I'm going to have 1 seed in the Final Four. I actually have 2 different bold predictions. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go with yet, but let me drop a bombshell on everyone right now. This is what I'm choosing between. It's either Florida Atlantic to the Final Four, or it's Kent State University to the Elite 8. That's a bombshell I just dropped, and it's going to be one of the 2 of those, and you'll see when I do my bracket predictions probably tonight which one it's going to be. I don't know yet. I want to actually dig into some of this research and things like that, but and a lot of it depends on what region these teams get, with Florida Atlantic possibly still being an 8 seed, although I think FAU should be a 7 seed after what they've done. They crushed UAB and stuff like that. And then when it comes to the Final Four, 1 seeds are 22-10 in Final Four games against lower tier seeds. There has been at least 1 seed in 29 of the 37, 78% of the championship games. 78% of national championships involve a 1 seed. So guys, when it comes to the national championship, you're going to want a 1 seed against probably a non-1 seed, but you're definitely going to want to involve a 1 seed based on history if you believe in the current trends. And the final 1 seeds have won 65% of the past 37 tournaments and 8 of the last 10. They are 16-5 against lower seeded opponents. So very likely we're going to want to pick a 1 seed to win the national title. And looking at the current 1 seeds, to me, it's between Houston and Alabama. And with Bama, it's the karma factor. So it's Houston, Alabama. But you know what? I'm going to talk about my Final Four strategy in another video. But I'm just saying, when it comes to a national championship, I'm not picking Purdue to win the national title. I'm just not. If they're a 1 seed, I'm not picking them. I think if UCLA is a 1 seed, that complicates things, but they did lose their best defender. And then the other team is Kansas, which I just can't pick a back-to-back national champion, especially with Bill Self, especially with the way Kansas played in that Big 12 championship game against Texas. Looking at the 2 seeds, only 10 out of 148 2 seeds have lost in the first round, Interestingly, 6 of those upsets happened within the last 10 tournaments. It's still probably too rare of an occurrence to take the risk. So guys, the 2v15 matchup this year, if you're going to pick a 15 seed to upset a 2 seed, it's Colgate University, who will probably be a 15 seed. That is the only 15 seed I would think would possibly upset a 2 seed. My personal strategy, I do think I'm going to have the 2 seeds going 4-0 against the 15 seeds. I think they're due for it, especially after St. Peter's, the 15 seed, having a run last year. Let's use 40 chess and say, if a 15 seed made a crazy run last year, the 15 seeds are due to get curb stopped this season. It's 40 chess, you have to understand. Second round, 93% of 2s reach the second round. So basically all of them, only about 2/3 of them advance further. So 66% advance to the Sweet 16. So probably 2 out of 4, maybe 3 out of 4 will go on to the Sweet 16. I would say right now, you know, when it comes to 1 and 2 seeds, a combined 6 of them or 7 of them, depending, you're going to want to have in the Sweet 16. And then in the Sweet 16, 63% of 2 seeds reach this round. There have only been 2 tournaments where none of the 2 seeds advanced past the Sweet 16. So very likely there's going to be a minimum of 1 2 seed into the Elite 8, maybe on the higher end, 2 seeds make the Elite 8. Elite 8, 45% reach the Elite 8. So really, when you're talking about history, you're probably going to want to have either 1, but more likely 2 seeds in the Elite 8. And then Final Four, 21% of 2 seeds reach this round when it comes to the Final Four. So possibly 1 2 seed, you know, 1 or 2 1 seeds, and then a lower seed depending on how you want to do it. My Final Four makeup is probably going to be 1 1 seed, 1 2 seed. You know, the 1 seed's probably going to be Houston. The 2 seed is probably going to be Marquette if they get a 2 seed, although they might be a 3. If they don't, I might go with one of the Pac-12 teams as a 2 seed like UCLA or Arizona. And then 1 lower seed, maybe a Cinderella run like a Florida Atlantic, because it feels like this year has been so unpredictable. We're going to get a Cinderella possibly all the way into the Final Four. Of the 13 2 seeds to reach the final, 5 of them won. I mean, that's, you know, take that for what you want. That really doesn't matter. And then moving on to the 3 seeds, while 85% of all 3 seeds have advanced to the second round, there's only about a 50% chance all 4 3 seeds will do it in the same year. It's only happened 37 times. Or, excuse me, only happened 18 times in the last 37 tournaments. So, it's a 50-50 chance a 3 seed gets upset by a 14 seed, but you're going to want to have at least 3 seeds advance to the second round. At least 3 seeds. Maybe there's an upset. Looking at that 14 line, the seed line, I actually don't know it off the top of my head, but when it comes, there are some interesting 14 seeds that I could see winning against 3 seeds. Second round, 85% of 3 seeds reach this round. So again, you know, it's rough. It's most of them, but possibly there is an upset. Sweet 16, 52% of 3s reach this round. So when it comes to 3 seeds in the Sweet 16, you're probably going to want to go with 2 3 seeds making the Sweet 16. The Elite 8, 25% of 3s reach that round. So I would say with the Elite 8, you'd want 1 3 seed, maybe 2 at the absolute most if you really like 2 3 seeds. I'm sure it's happened before. Final Four, 11% of 3s reach this round. So really, unless you're obsessed with a 3 seed, you know, maybe like it's a Marquette situation, if there is a 3 seed in the Final Four, it will probably advance to the championship game. 11 of the 17 Final Four 3 seeds advance to the championship game. 3 seeds have won all 4 times they've been in the national championship. Wow. So there's some interesting stuff right there on 3 seeds. And then 4 seeds, we're going to go through this really quickly. More than likely, 1 of the 4 seeds will lose in the first round. It's not a foregone conclusion. However, all of the 4 seeds have advanced to the second round 11 times in 37 tournaments. So I would say certainly there's going to be a 4v13 upset. Number one, I can tell people right now, if Kent State faces Virginia, that is a guaranteed upset, 1,000%. Kent State will beat Virginia in a 4v13 game. That's a I think whoever Virginia, if they're a 4 seed, they're losing. That's what I'll say about Virginia. They will be the upset. Sweet 16, 47% of, I don't know why it says 2s reach. It should say 4 seeds reach that round. So when it comes to 4 seeds in the Sweet 16, roughly you're going to want to have 2 4 seeds reach the Sweet 16. There's about a 50-50 chance no 4 seeds make it past the Sweet 16. So when it comes to the Elite 8, I would say maybe 1 4 seed or 0 to the Elite 8 at this point when it comes to that overall. And then guys, when it comes to, I want to give my quick strategy when it comes to picking the Sweet 16. What I will do is I will have like 8 or 9 pillar teams that I am 1,000% confident are going to reach the Sweet 16. That's kind of the way I structure it. So when I look at these metrics and these numbers, I can tell people right now, and I'll probably be wrong on one of these teams, but I'll probably have like a 90% hit rate. When I do my pillar Sweet 16 teams, it's Houston, Alabama, UCLA, Texas, that's 4 right there. I would probably say Arizona, Marquette, possibly Baylor, possibly UConn as well. UConn's an enigma, and with UConn, it just matters where they draw. But looking at these top 16 teams, I can just tell you the frauds right now. Stay away from Tennessee. Probably stay away from, well, I mean, you can pick Gonzaga. They have a great offense, but they have a bad defense. Stay far away from San Diego State. Stay far away from Creighton. I would stay away from Kansas. You know, maybe Kansas makes the Elite 8, but that's as far as I'll go with Kansas, you know. So, like, I have pillars teams. Houston's a pillar team. Alabama's a pillar team. UCLA's a pillar team. UConn's probably going to be a pillar team. Texas is probably going to be a pillar team. Marquette's a pillar team. Possibly Baylor, although I know they didn't look good. I'll have to do more research on them. Those are like my pillar teams. Maybe Gonzaga, but again, that defense scares me. You know, we will see what ends up happening. But guys, that's just some advice, some history on March Madness, some bracket tips and things like that. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Link to that's always in the description.